The new season of Jujutsu Kaisen is finally here, chat. Spread the word. And I'm breaking down every single part of it, from the goated fights to the massive information drops. But I'll make it so digestible that even a Jujutsu Kaisen fan will leave this video feeling like a special grade sorcerer. The season starts off with Itadori constantly washing his hands to remove the blood, but it won't disappear. And this obviously symbolizes the countless number of civilians' deaths that's now on Itadori's hands. After the Shibuya incident, this has got to be a Macbeth reference. And then out of nowhere, the bum of the year, Yuta Okatsu makes his return to execute Itadori. In all seriousness, I like Yuta, but the slander you guys have cooked on this poor man is so good I could die. You lot will proceed to input the word fact before a sentence and then just whip up the most diabolical words in the English dictionary to drag this man's reputation to the ground. I've seen someone say if you let Yuta fans borrow your phone, they'll send all your money to Israel before you can blink. Itadori's getting chased down by a big hand through this breathtaking scenery. It's been a while since I've seen such amazing animation. I can't just tell those Mappa animators haven't slept since 2024. While Itadori's munching on some protein bars, the hand snatches him and then everything goes black and white, and then all of a sudden Yuta's trying to shank bro, and then the screen goes purple. If you don't understand what I just said, then don't worry, neither do I. This part's just a big fever dream. At least the opening is goated as usual, although Choso bowling out for no reason is pretty trippy as well. That's nothing we're not used to. We've seen pandas doing parkour in other openings. Naoya starts comparing Maki and Mai on the things that matter, like who's got the Tigger biddies, for example, and all that other stuff that's important. But yeah, this guy's like the clavicular of the Zenin clan, and now he's the new head? Why would someone willingly make this guy the head of a clan? He's genuinely worse than Hitler. The other stuff this gnome explained went over my head, but the main thing is that Naoya's gonna head out for a bit to slime out Megumi and Itadori. It goes without saying, but picking on a bum like Megumi means nothing, and going after a depressed Itadori who is suffering from post-Shibuya PTSD further proves how much of a fraud Naoya is. Itadori and big bro Choso have a conversation down these stairs. He senses that Sukuna is getting stronger and he wants to groom potential man next. I wonder what the stair scene means. They keep repeatedly going down the stairs. If someone knows the answer, then comment, because they clearly weren't doing laps. Itadori and big bro head out to kill more spirits. He's getting chased by more monsters now. I don't understand why these monsters are all obsessed with Itadori at the moment, but we move. Literally, Itadori runs up a highway and drop kicks a monster, but then he gets kidnapped again, but manages to land a galaxy impact on the second monster. Is anyone else wondering why the sky looks like Birmingham from that one time? If Shibuya is this beautiful, just imagine what heaven's gonna look like. Gods are flying everywhere now, whilst Itadori's doing parkour and fighting for his life against Maharaga Jr. He's even got abnormal titans chasing him, so he lures all the spirits into a highway, and then Choso incinerates everyone with his period blood bending. Itadori then covers big bro by destroying Maharaga Jr. once and for all. Choso starts glazing Itadori's improvement and tries to get him to remember Kenjaku taking over Itadori's mom the same way it happened to him. That Kenjaku demon's gotta chill. He's moving like prime Genghis Khan. Even this Capri-sun wasn't safe from bro's devious antics. Naoya announces to Itadori that he's sentenced to death because his father figure got jumped, but he'll only cut Itadori's legs off, lure in Megumi, and then he starts toying with Itadori. As much as I hate to admit it, this is Aura. Naoya wasn't moving like this in the manga, and it gets even worse. Naoya starts slapping up Choso whilst he fixes up his hair, and moving like he has a Sandavistan implanted into his spine. Luckily, Choso's dignity is saved because Itadori stops this beating by chucking a rock at Naoya. But it doesn't matter because it's too late. The TikTokers already turned bro into the meme of January 2026. They also released the whole episode of Jujutsu Kaisen on there without any repercussions, which is just insane. But regardless, these variations are diabolical. As Choso's #1 fan, I cannot allow this slander to slide. Here's proof. I won this Choso figure in a crane machine in Japan in 2025. This proves I'm an OG. Ignore the Yoshi in the background. With that being said, I'm not stopping this video until this sub-5 womanizer gets his karma. Yuta stops this squabble by terrorizing them with his haki knots, aura, and then hits a zesty pose to scare everyone even further. All slander aside, the fact that Itadori's first thought when he felt that aura was that it was Gojo is an insane feat, or this might just be more masterclass PR from the author to push his agenda. Remember guys, Ege Akutami is not a reliable source. Choso will take on Naoya to regain his dignity while Itadori escapes from Yuta. It's really annoying me how Naoya is talking to Yuta like they are bodies. Like bro, you're not getting invited to the cookout. Only somewhat likable sorcerers who waste their gap years ninjas in Africa get that type of respect. And this bum really thinks he could slime potential man when we all know that Naoya is getting erased from existence faster than Megumi could utter the words. Is attempting to finish off Itadori mid Naruto run, and for some reason Maharaga Jr. is getting back up. Itadori starts weaving Yuta's attacks and Yuta starts lying about how he has more cursed energy than Gojo. I know it's a lie because some guy told me it's false, but for real though, Gojo uses his 6 eyes to maximize his energy so he gets more out of his than Yuta does. Itadori's life is low-key flashing before his eyes, so he remembers that the better a sorcerer is, the harder it is to read their attacks. And Yuta's overflowing with cursed energy, so Itadori has no way to counterattack, so he runs to a car instead and finds a knife. Itadori attempts to use it as a cursed weapon on the fly, but then he gets low broed by Yuta, who explains how to do it properly while taking a beating. But Itadori did manage to break Yuta's sword in half, so that's something. Itadori runs at Yuta, but his preschooler girlfriend Rika holds him down, and then Yuta stabs Itadori and says sorry. At least he's polite. Naoya starts hitting more combos on Choso in the highway, and it gets so overwhelming that the pillar behind him even breaks and the POV keeps splashing. Genuinely, what is this bum's ability? Choso sends blood flow to his eyes to improve his kinetic vision, but that weirdo Naoya continues to buzz around and smack up Choso even more. But Choso is at least adjusting. This doesn't stop him from getting shanked though. Naoya's getting shook up by Choso, so he asks who is bro, and Choso says he is a big brother. It turns out Naoya hates his older brothers because they are incompetent, so they need to be hung. I was following his logic for a bit there, but then he lost me. Naoya, you're gonna have to chill out there, mate. Choso explains that big bros serve as examples for younger siblings on what path to take. Even if they go down the wrong path, this serves as an example for their younger siblings to avoid. So there's always use. I'm pretty sure this TED Talk Choso just gave Naoya saved his brothers' lives from manslaughter via their little bro. Choso is strong because he had to forge his own path after many mistakes. And Naoya is weak because he doesn't actually have a curse technique. Everyone just moves slower than him when fighting because they feel bad for him. Bloodbath appears and Naoya runs away from it. Choso can turn cursed energy into blood, by the way. Imagine if all that blood chasing down Naoya was his own. Bro would be shriveled up as I'm speaking. While Naoya's been running and dodging all these blood spikes, blood seeped into his clothes and hardened to make his legs feel heavy. Naoya's gonna do his thing now. So apparently he tracks things at 24 FPS or something, but it's 2026 now, buddy. People even complain about 60 FPS being too slow. This means nothing to me. A lot of blood drops from the ceiling and explodes. Choso calls this technique supernova, and there you have it. Checkmate. Choso put this fraud in his place. Naoya fans, is this your goat? I see straight up guzzling cum. China did him dirty here. Regardless, this could never be my goat Choso. Naoya was about to get finished off, but then Yuta walks over dragging Itadori and knocks out Choso. I told you guys, Yuta didn't like Naoya. Bro's acting so condescending towards him. This hate watch is beautiful. Choso's cursed spirit blood is poisoning Naoya, so Yuta will heal him if he reports to the top brass that Itadori's dead. Stand proud, Naoya. You're washed. Itadori gets a flashback from when he was a baby, and it turns out Kenjaku is Itadori's mother. That's pretty disgusting, but anyways, wakes up and Yuta is now clear to tell Itadori that he's actually on his side. Let me glaze Yuta for a second. He's come a long way from when he was timid and weak in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Now he's really just strong and kind of awkward, which I like a lot. So the reason Yuta shanked Itadori is because he needed to make a pact to actually kill Itadori in order to get the executioner job, and he quickly used reverse curse technique to heal Itadori afterwards. As we know, Itadori has been putting all the blame of the Shibuya incident on himself, but Yuta points out Sukuna's his own man, and he's the real one who caused all those mass killings. And I've got to agree, because that just makes sense. Something similar happened to Yuta as well with Rika, but I have short-term memory loss. Anyways, Megumi casually walks into the campfire, and he wants Itadori to come back to Jujutsu High so they can strategize. Itadori's still being hard on himself because he did technically kill Mahito, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's Mahito, so who really cares? We'll skip over this self-loathing conversation. The bottom line is, Megumi needs Itadori's strength because they need to participate in the Culling Games because some guy called Noritoshi Kamo started it. In a nutshell, it's basically a battle royale for Jujutsu sorcerers. But let's have a deeper look into all of this. Okay guys, here's the Culling Games rules. So I'm going to need you to lock in like LOPS and that and finish reading these before the timer goes off, because I'm not explaining the rules because I'm also a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, which means I also don't have any reading comprehension whatsoever. Nice, moving on. Everyone's in on the plan and Yuta agrees to kill Itadori if Sukuna ever takes over his body again. Now they just need to contact this Tengen guy. Well, pretend I remember, find out how to release Gojo, and so they can understand why this Kamo guy, who I'll also pretend I remember, has started the Culling Games. Tengen's in some place that has like 10k doors for some reason, and he's hiding in one of them. So they'll get a move on after Itadori comes to terms with the fact that Nobara died as well. But Choso interrupts that by appearing out of thin air to talk about the plan. I'm enjoying Megumi looking freaked out. It's nice to see nonchalant characters actually showing a bit of emotion. These guys want to steal something, but before they go do that, they get Maki and the Snow Bunny to tag along. Megumi tries to explain the plan to them, but then Choso weirds him out even more by grabbing his shoulder and explaining he can find the vault to whatever they are looking for. They get close enough to his brothers because he can sense them through his ability. Everyone got tired of Choso gaslighting them, so they ask, who is he? And Itadori actually calls him a big brother. Let me just play the clip of this reaction. I can't do it justice.
俺の兄貴ってことで。
I just like how everyone slowly walks away from him. Now that I think about it, Choso kind of reminds me of Todo, you know, because of their obsession with Itadori, and they have their own quirks. Todo's schizophrenic and loves women with tig biddies, and Choso's also mentally ill and really into being a big brother. They also give each other sick fades. One last side note, Todo's gotta be the most unslanderable JJK character. He's simply immune because he's too goated. You can't hate him. Everyone goes into an ice forest and then they take an elevator underground and then they reach a white room. Choso continues to stay goated by leaving his siblings behind in the garage for now for the greater good and focus on the task at hand. The white room's all empty and stuff because it's rejecting the Snow Bunny, but I wouldn't. So they walk back, but then this guy starts talking. Why did he wait for them to walk away, start talking? What a chud. It turns out this chud is actually Tengen, and he starts boosting everyone's egos by giving them cold nicknames, and then he proceeds to pretend the Snow Bunny doesn't exist. Either way, if you're wondering why Tengen looks like this, it's because he's 500 years old and immortal, but his body still ages. Tengen needs 2 people to stay behind to protect him because Kenjaku wants to force evolution across Japan. I'm not gonna lie, the next couple minutes of this video is gonna be pretty text heavy, but you're gonna have to lock in, guys. Can't complain about all these low drops and rules we're getting, or else the series would be as meaningless as Israel leveling. Kenjaku wants to assimilate mankind with Tengen to force for evolution because his other plans won't work because one would be too inefficient and take too long, and the other requires too much cursed energy. But Kenjaku can use Tengen because he's still evolving and his soul is spread everywhere. Tengen's able to keep everything under control on his end because he's experienced and his curse technique helps. But if the average Joe assimilated with him and descended, he most likely couldn't handle it, which would bring about the end of the world. And evil would spread across Japan because of the impurities instantly. So it's important Tengen gets his protection. He's closer to a cursed spirit than a human at the moment, so Kenjaku could have his way with him using cursed manipulation. Honestly, from the sounds of it, this Kenjaku guy is worse than Epstein and P. Diddy put together. Those been terrorizing families for over 1,000 years. If someone in the comments wants to explain what the hell a star plasma vessel is, I would really appreciate that. The star plasma vessel, Kenjaku and Six Eyes are connected by fate, which is why the past 2 times Kenjaku tried assimilation he failed because the Six Eyes always put a stop to everything. After Kenjaku failed the first time, he spawn camped the Six Eyes user, but the third one spawned almost instantly to stop him. So that's why he sealed Gojo this time, because there can only be one Six Eyes user at a time. Toji was able to interfere with fate because he was physically gifted with a heavenly pact and has no cursed energy. So Maki could intervene in theory, but she needs to get way stronger. Kenjaku hijacked Geto's body because of his cursed spirit manipulation abilities, and Kenjaku is using the Culling Games as a warm-up before the big assimilation. We're gonna have to go through some of those rules in our chat, so stay with me. I'm suffering as much as you are. Kenjaku has to follow the rules like everyone else because he's not the game master. The Culling Games don't end until everyone dies or everyone refuses to play and dies. This means just killing Kenjaku won't end the Culling Games. Another rule is that the players can make their own rules. They get enough points. Choso and the Snow Bunny will stay behind because if Kenjaku pulls up and Choso beats him, then his siblings will be freed, and Tengen's silent riz worked too well. Tengen passes over this seal. Damn, how did they trap Gojo in a seal? I'm sorry. All of this information is turning me into season 2 Choso. It would be useful to have the inverted spear of heaven or black rope to free Gojo, but he destroyed those previously. Just keep bro sealed up at this point, he deserves it. Miguel and Yuta spent their gap year in Africa looking for more rope, but they had no luck on that end. But there's a Culling Games player from 1,000 years ago called Angel, and she has an ability that can stop people's curse techniques, so she can open the prison realm. So the gang will track her down. And why are there so many people that are 1,000 years old in the series? That's not normal. Let's take a break from this information dump for a second. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that other special grade sorcery sorceress started adopting random kids coincidentally. Meanwhile, Yuta's just been on a world tour looking for his next potential kindergartner girlfriend. For real though, it's criminal how the actual predators, Mei and Naoya, got away with the slander. I wouldn't be surprised if they are the ones who started this whole movement against Yuta. Once a player uses their curse technique, they need to pledge in a colony within about 10 days. And if they don't, then they lose their curse technique. This baddie starts talking about something, but she made me lose focus. Someone name dropped Panda as well, which means another member from the OG cast will make a return. It's nice to see because so much has changed since season 2, it's crazy. After reading these rules, it's pretty obvious that Itadori's gotta kill more people, but Megami's got some plan apparently to prevent that. You gotta respect Megami for snapping Itadori out of his 1000 year stare again. Bro's truly broken. Only the smiling friends could fix him. At this rate, Maki's going back to the Zenin house to get the curse tools, and Megami's now the head of the Zenin clan. Genuinely don't understand how he is the head. Just one episode ago it was Naoya, unless I misheard what the gnome was saying. Yuta's gonna participate straight away, so he has an awkward interaction with Itadori and Megami where they are just gonna have to deal with the fact that if Sukuna appears in that time, then everyone's cooked, and Yuta's gonna have to slime Sukuna after he cooks Megami. This Megami guy is always looking for an excuse to take his own life, I swear. Would make a fire terrorist. Itadori and Megami will recruit Hakari, the suspended third year. Yuta says that when Hakari locks in, he's stronger than him, but let's be honest, Yuta's just being modest. Don't let it get to your head, Hakari glazes. Hakari is goated for reasons I won't disclose. Don't worry viewers, I'm not like all the Jujutsu Kaisen fans. I won't spoil you as long as you subscribe. But yeah, if Hakari's introduction doesn't include Brazilian funk, Capcom edits, and the Hunter x Hunter narrator, then we are increasing the Mappa employees' work hours even further. I gotta say it one more time, Choso is the GOAT. Itadori saying thanks and leaving, and then Choso saying don't die, and then he cries is so heartwarming. Such a genuine guy. The POV then changes to a new guy called Takaba, who's trying to make it as a comedian at the age of 35, and he's getting chewed out by some guy who probably peaked in high school because he's trash low-key. Then some NPC randomly chimes in and starts getting all philosophical about what it means to be a comedian. Some comedians are always funny. Some comedians gaslight themselves into believing they are funny, and the NPC asks Takaba which is he. Takaba leans towards being a mix of 70-30. But it's time to get back into the real action. Maki pulls up to the Zenin house and unfortunately has to talk to Naoya. He goes for the usual and factually calls her ugly, but Maki's surprised because he thought he only looked at cheeks. I'm not gonna lie though, Naoya absolutely cooked her. He starts listing how she's chopped, has no host, has no money, has no cursed energy, and how he's gonna bully her like in their childhood. Then we get a little flashback to Maki peer pressuring Megami into becoming head because he has a domain, potential, and lots of other stuff. And now we're back to the present. Maki's mother is shouting at her to stop misbehaving, and while this is happening, the higher-ups figured out that they can just execute Maki, Megami, and Mai because they are trying to unseal Gojo anyways, which is illegal. Maki enters a room and finds out her daddy hid their weapons, and he's beating on her little sister. So Maki tries to box her old man for the vibes, but he straight up ends her with cursed energy flowing from his sword. I saw that coming anyways. She was using Zabimaru after all. Her dad starts crying because he wasn't head of the clan, and it's all because of Maki and Mai's fault, because they were born with all these skill issues. Then he breaks down how Maki is dumb as hell, which is fair. He broke her dad's blade and closed in, but her dad's not a swordsman. He's a sorcerer, so she messed up. Now their dad's dragging them into a back room that has a lot of grade 2 spirits that are gonna jump the sisters. He starts cooking Maki even more verbally, and I feel bad for her because everything these chuds have said in this episode is just true. She's a bum right now. No one cares if she's somewhat physically gifted because sorcerers train their bodies anyway, so they already have that over her and then some. Mai's caressing her sister and she almost kisses her sister, and now Maki's laying on a beach that Mai created with her ability that I forgot about. Mai explains that in the world of Jujutsu sorcerers, being a twin is a crazy skill issue because your potential is half to a non-twin sorcerer, and in order to unlock the full package, someone has to sacrifice themselves. In order to gain strength, something must be lost. Thank you for your sacrifice, Mai. Now we get to watch Maki move like prime King Von and slime the whole clan. After Maki uses up the last of her emotion to grieve over Mai in a pool of blood, she carries out Mai's wishes and starts off the mass murder of the Fraud clan by going after her dad. He senses she off-screen cursed spirits and gets PTSD because she's giving off Toji's energy, and then Maki does the iconic bows. I think the anime did a good job here. I know some of you guys wanted the scene to look like this, but this is an anime. Not everything can be a one-to-one copy of a different medium. That doesn't make sense, and if it is a one-to-one copy, then in most cases, that's just lazy, and the anime probably sucks like Record of Ragnarok. We have enough PowerPoints pretending to be animes as is. Let's not add another to the mix. Over does an ultimate technique which slashes some pillars, and then Maki chops off her dad's head like nothing and walks off. That was a clean incision. Kenjaku would be proud. The bells have been rung, so Maki gets to fight all the goons now. He's literally moving like Madara. It's insane. And why is this goon stepping up like he was about to do something? I'm dying. He's gotta be the second bravest soldier after the guy who first ran up to Madara. It's crazy how Itadori's struggling over the fact he killed someone, and then there's Maki who's currently doing trick shots on these poor soldiers. Maki definitely ate one of Koji's cursed dreads because this is just diabolical. They've got upbeat music playing whilst Maki is ice skating on people's blood and giving them 1-inch punches. It's kind of like she's playing Fruit Ninja at the moment with how she's just testing out different combos. My favorite one is when she roundhouse kicks this guy and then his face explodes. This is what everyone swore a gorilla would do to 100 humans in 2025. The commander of the goons arrives to all his men being dead, and then some cursed thing activates and a giant hand goes into the sky with Maki and all the blood, and then it flattens Maki. A Zenin clan member did this with their ability, of course, but let me make this clear. The Zenin clan is a clan for bums. They'd be flipping burgers if it wasn't for the two failures, one potential man and one misogynist. Yeah, I know the Gojo clan only has Gojo and the Kamo clan has something for sure, but there's an agenda here that we must maintain. The Hei are here and they are the Zenin clan's strongest sorcerers. Everything else happened so quickly. Maki survived getting her cheeks clapped and went straight for this guy. Then they slashed swords until Maki broke his stuff. Then Maki literally snatched this old guy's heart like Killua did back in the day. And now Ranta activates his Sharingan so Maki's on the run. But now she can barely move, but she's slowly breaking through Ranta's Genjutsu. So you would think Jinichi would body the crap out of Maki right there and then. But no, he wanted to aura form instead. Jinichi, what are you doing? Hold up, nephew. This win got me feeling magnificent. This is genuinely the reason both of them died. That move Jinichi pulled did look insanely impressive, but it's too late now, buddy. Maki turned the bro into a makeshift basketball. Fact! Jinichi was gonna pull up to Shibuya, but he decided to walk there at 1.2 miles per hour instead of getting the train in order to preserve his aura. Maki chucks Mr. One for All into the river, and then Naoya asks her if she has a heart, but Maki aura forms correctly and says Mai took it with her. You get a flashback to the day Naoya became a Toji glazer. He was trying to find him because a little birdie told him there's a jobless bum in the clan. But when he saw Toji, all he saw was an aura forming Lux Maxer who was tired of being so strong and hated all the weaklings around him. Little did he know, Toji was just tired and needed to go to the toilet. I just know Naoya's social media accounts all have that one Toji profile picture that everyone's spamming. Mappa knew how to make Toji look somehow even more miserable because the workers are just projecting. Can you even blame them? These animators probably didn't see their families for days just to animate Toji's veiny foot. Have you guys heard that Naoya Zenin rap? You know, the one where he's all like, I don't like men, I don't like women. A weak woman, that's the type I don't like. A big woman, that's the type I don't like. I just wanted to say that, to be honest. Do you think that Naoya's trying to come out of the closet? The voice actor himself did say it's his theme song. Anyways, I'm rambling. Maki and Naoya go hit for hit, and he's trying to deny that she resembles his idol now. He says only someone like Gojo could understand Naoya's pain, which is fair, but this one really thinks he can reach their level? Doesn't even have an original curse technique. Naobito should have copyright protected this. Naoya kicks Maki and spam hits on her in midair. While Naoya is smashing her through the Grand Canyon, Maki is counting something. The Hunter x Hunter narrator chimes in to point out that the longer Naoya keeps his technique activated, the faster he gets, or something like that. Maki's gonna stay in one place and give Naoya some sugar. Naoya turns into Sonic and travels across the world, blasts straight through her. This is what people mean when they say unstoppable force versus immovable object. Thanks to Maki figuring out Naoya's technique, I finally understand what bro does, and it only took me 3 episodes. Naoya can create up to 24 motions per second, and that's why Maki was doing all that counting. But she's adapted now, and instead of hugging Naoya, she straight up counters him into the ground. There was no need to show 5 different angles for this murder. We even got a close-up of bro's skull getting caved in. You can just tell the animators despised bro. This moment was so peak, I made it my wallpaper. Maki is now casually calling out her mother as if they are playing hide and seek, and now that she's found her, Maki asks why he was invited to the house, but her mom was too much of a coward to admit it. Was to get her daughter slimed, so she gets killed off as well. Luckily for us, Naoya's still alive, so that means we get to watch him crawl crawl on all fours, and most importantly, you get to see him die again. The fact that Maki's mother finished him off means nothing to me. He's still a failure as a parent. Before I stop talking about Naoya, we gotta address how he did 0 damage to Maki. Bro's got bigger pillow hands than Heini. Nobody cares if you can do 24 hits per second if all you're doing is tickling your opponent. It was practically healing her at that point. Imagine how much stronger he'd be if he just used a weapon. It's just crazy that Maki turned this family portrait from this to this. He really pulled off an Itachi perfectly. The Zenin clan no longer exists. She said she'd destroy the Zenin clan ages ago to Yuta, and she stood on business. Maki ends off the episode by passing Mai's corpse over to Broom Girl and walking off like a goat. We get to see a backstory of Panda, I think, but it honestly confused me because I have dementia, so we're gonna skip forward a bit. Sunglasses' uncle is getting confronted in the streets, and then Gramps started shredding it on the guitar in this tunnel. The reason Unk is getting jumped is because he has information that people want, and he reveals it to Gramps now that he got messed up as a way of cursing him. Unk's ability allows him to imbue inanimate dolls with cursed energy to create sentient or command-driven puppets. In the wrong hands, that's diabolical. But Bro's no longer with us now. Panda runs past Gramps and grieves over Unk because pandas don't move like that, but even pandas cry. That part was insanely depressing. Almost as depressing as Crunchyroll releasing a dumbed down video called Culling Games in 3 minutes because us Jujutsu Kaisen fans can't read. Hakari's been busy making serious dough because of his fight club ever since he got kicked out of school for beefing with the upperclassmen. So Megumi and Itadori need to get him to join their side because he's allegedly stronger than Yuta. After they put on their Naruto and Sasuke cosplay, Megumi gets Itadori a fight against the Undertaker. So after Itadori listens to the rules, like don't talk about Fight Club, he learns that if he fights well enough, he can talk to Hakari. Okay, it's time to go one-on-one with Itadori's fighting Panda. Hakari's chilling with his goth girlfriend and watching the fight, and Panda and Itadori are pretending to fight while they're discussing what they've been up to. Panda chucks Itadori into the air and then suplexes him, and he does that because the wrestling isn't real. Then Itadori pays tribute to Naoya by tickling Panda into a pillar and he wins. Hakari is impressed, so he calls up Itadori so he can help us write some YouTube scripts. Bro hasn't felt this excited since his ex maxed his credit card. What does that even mean? Why would that get you all excited for? He might be a cook. Panda's talking to Megumi now and explaining his findings. Hakari's girlfriend is called Kirara, and she was also a Jujutsu. I third year. Panda knows where Hakari's hideout is, but he can't close the gap because of Kirara's ability. So that's kinda like Gojo's Infinity. Kirara takes Itadori to the hideout so Hakari can swindle him. Itadori's told he could earn 1 million yen a month by doing 1 hour of work, and all he needs to do is give Hakari 200k yen. Itadori obviously says no because it's a scam, but Hakari explains that this really works because the swindler and the swindled have that passion to make their lives better. And that's really true. Buy my YouTube course and I'll teach you how to get 100 views. As we know, nothing screams passion more than gambling. You could even say the purpose of life is to gamble. People's quality of life doesn't improve because they are not willing to take the gamble. And sometimes it gets worse because they don't even know when to fold. You can just tell from the way Hikari's gushing over gambling that he bet on all of those UCL games the other night. But his love for the game did result in lots of girlfriends dumping him. If you really think about it, everyone gambles. They're just afraid of losing. So take a gamble on me and subscribe. Itadori tries to bring up a point about some people wanting to live a peaceful life, but that sounds like woke nonsense. Hikari's true goal is to control this nation's passion through his fight clubs. And now is the perfect opportunity after all the chaos caused by the Shibuya incident. After Hakari asks Itadori if he wants to join, a call goes off and it keeps ringing. Hakari goes to grab a drink and get Itadori something non-alcoholic. When I was watching this scene, it was really intense and made me feel uneasy because of the camera angle and the phone just kept ringing. I've said it before, but the cinematography in this season is amazing. Hakari's just asking Itadori general questions like why doesn't he drink, and then he casually says, Gojo can't handle drinking. This is when Itadori remembers that he's low-key on the spectrum and pretends he doesn't know Gojo, which is just diabolical because every sorcerer knows him. Hikari slowly drinks, then throws his glass straight at Itadori, who's trying to avoid it. Then Hikari just starts jumping him and mixing in something from his ability. It looks like he's punishing his son or something. Whenever Hikari's phone rings, it means his girlfriend has confirmed something's up. So this whole dispute with everyone should get resolved next episode, and I'll cover it if this video breaks at least 1k 2K views, to be honest. I'm not asking for much here, guys. Please, I'm drowning. Well, this video was a lot longer than expected. So let's make sure I didn't waste my time and get this video growing. Like, subscribe, and comment who the biggest Jujutsu Kaisen fraud is. See you all in the next video.